D, how are you?
Buddy, doing all right, man. How about you?
I am doing better. I am doing better for sure. I'm getting there.
Good.
Let's see. For those that don't know, I lost my brother a few weeks ago. That's what I'm referring to. Um, all right. We are live, I believe.
Yes, we
Oh,
are.
I don't know what I just did there. Hey, I'm just playing around with some of this stuff.
All right, right.
Uh, Good morning. I'm excited about today because, by the way, for those that join us, today is just part two of last week, and that is um, how to flesh out a product, product ideas. Today, we're going to go a little deeper and we're going to talk about, oh, and by the way, we have the training. For some reason, Facebook changed from units to what's it called now? Mentions? No, what's it called? I
I
forget
want to
what it's
say
called.
I want to say impressions, but I don't think that's right.
No, one moment. Let me go see. Let's go to Facebook.
You know what? Speaking of Facebook, while you're
Yeah,
looking for that,
go ahead.
what's your take on the new paid membership thing that
I,
you're seeing
pers-
about?
Personally, I love it.
Yeah.
Yep, we're going to talk about that. It's not only Facebook. This is going to be a new thing. Listen, with being a creator, I'm going to say this. This is going to sound like today you have the ability. Well, you have the ability today. If you can speak, my God, you don't even need to speak. You could be somebody with sign language and make a killing today.
Right.
And I want to talk about that real quick. Speaking of sign language, and there's a reason why I'm bringing it up. But just imagine for a moment. I'm going to put my phone on silent, by the way. Imagine for a moment what this did for people that were hearing impaired. The iPhone. By the way, the reason why I'm red, I burnt. I don't believe in but there's a thing that most likely we're going to be doing down in Florida, so I had to do this. But at the end of the day, that winter skin does not so I got burnt. But can you imagine the hearing impaired before a phone was invented? So I don't even care if it was the BlackBerry. That's going way back.
Right.
But
Yeah, no
imagine
doubt.
what this did for them. Like, especially now, like they could communicate with you and I without a problem, right? I don't know sign language, do you?
No.
But you certainly know text.
Right.
So do you agree that like back and forth? Like imagine family members that always felt kind of left out that were hearing impaired now can be part of a group chat.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about with like being a creator. You can create something so amazing. I have the wrong thing up. You can create something so amazing, or you can create something minuscule and still make an impact and still earn incredible revenue. And that's what we're going to talk about today too. We'll talk about the paid version and why, you know,
Right.
might as well jump right in there. So
Yeah. Yeah. No,
why
for sure.
don't you give the skinny of the paid version, and then I'm going to give you my feedback on it.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, it was what 11.99 a month to be verified, basically. I think you also gain customer service support from a person.
Yes.
Um, I think there's a couple other things, but I think that was kind of the big highlights of it, right?
Yeah. And people have to understand you pay for things that are going to do what's called increase, right? So here are some of the reasons and the benefits of it. Now, mind you, for some of you, you may want to just wait, right? Will I do it? Will I do it? The key word is, like, will I? And the answer is absolutely 100%. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, let's talk about the negatives. Okay. So Facebook is not a platform that you're entitled to. I understand that. You understand that.
Right.
Facebook can get rid of me anytime they want to. And rightfully so, they own it. Understand that Facebook created this platform that we get to utilize, and the cost of that is they're going to throw ads in our face. I'm
Right.
okay with it. Like they got to make money somehow, right?
Well, exactly. Exactly.
And the other way is, do you realize $11.99? By the way, I want to really come back to this because this is going to be profound for a lot of you. I call it the Netflix effect, and where Netflix has gone a little wrong. A lot of companies are starting to do this, but I want to come back to Netflix. But at the end of the day, when it comes to Facebook is not. It is not all about you, and Facebook is for everyone to come together. And we could make Facebook an incredible platform. People is what makes Facebook, right? So you could be negative, you could be positive. If you're too negative or you say the wrong things, of course, they can get rid of you. Am I totally against that? Not totally, but some things, yes. I think the politics needs to be just let people be who they want and let them work it out.
Right.
Anyways, enough of that. But Facebook runs ads. That's how they make money. So when people say, or they use that thing that goes viral, that I don't give Facebook permission, okay, just know this, you already did. As soon as you open up a Facebook account, you can't tell Facebook what to do, period. So stop it, right? Including all of your photos and videos. You lose a lot of the rights managed. Not always. I mean, there are some that are still there. But at the end of the day, just know it's public domain and just understand that. Now, you can use Facebook in many ways. Once again, the death of my brother was great. It was just amazing. Like the outpour of love and support and stuff, especially for my brother's family. You know, they had a GoFundMe and stuff because the expenses are through the roof. And the guy that, I'm not going to get neat or deep into these woods, but the guy that they ran into him, you know, there's nothing there. And people don't know that. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Do a consensus on your life or an audit, making sure that you have enough life insurance. Now, my brother did a really good planning. So, but at the end of the day, it woke me up. And it made me think, man, if I'm not here tomorrow, is my wife okay? Okay. Right. It woke me up. And we all got to do that. Okay. Going back to Facebook. So Facebook was amazing for that, you know, that support. And another thing that I thought Facebook was great at, there's a lot of friends in my past that I probably would never see again. Like, let's be honest, like sometimes you do, but for the most part, you know, it reconnects you with people from the past, and including the people that are in your life right now. So I think it's great just for that alone. But Facebook is good for business as well.
Well, exactly.
Not just Facebook, but Instagram, TikTok, all of them.
Right.
If we look at the negative, then that's all you're going to see is negative. Okay. If you look for the positive, you're going to see a lot of positive. So you got to lean into the positive. And Facebook can be an incredible, incredible tool. I just wanted to point that out. And let's see. Good morning, Susie. Good morning.
But let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
As a business owner, you know, obviously we want to get our message out to, you know, our advertising, our sponsored posts, or, you know what I mean, our ads, you know, that kind of stuff out to people. Right. With a paid subscription, do you think they'll lose any members or diminish our pool of potential customers, or will it enhance the customers because of only the serious people were on it?
I think it's going to enhance it in many ways. I don't think you're going to get rid of anybody. It's just going to prove that you are who you are. You have to remember there's a lot of people out there that you don't know who you're really doing business with. So this helps with that.
Right.
Because they verify you and all that stuff. I'm not sure who this is, but this is a good point.
That is Tom.
Tom White?
Yep.
Okay. I think there's two Tom Whites too, right?
Yeah. But one's TH.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, with the blue check mark for Twitter, same thing. Let me ask you this: when you see that blue check mark, do you feel like that it's more valid?
Yeah. No. I mean, definitely not a scammer. Or at least it shouldn't be.
Exactly.
At least initially, until they figure out how to do that. You know.
without a doubt. I'm not sure what this question is. Let's see. Text to chat software, Google Dragon. Yeah, we'll talk about some AI stuff here in a moment. But But the bottom line is, yes, it's just going to enhance. I feel like here's what's going on in the big tech. You got Facebook copying. You got all of these platforms are always catching up or copying as to what's working. The one I think is I don't even know where the revenue is. If somebody want to look this up, but a lot of people say, oh, is Pinterest still a thing? I think not only is Pinterest a thing, I think there is a huge juxtaposition there. I think Pinterest is smart that they're keeping some things unique to Pinterest, but they are emulating. Like if you go to the video side of Pinterest, you would swear you're on Instagram. But there are some things about Pinterest that I think is just incredible. And I think they got to keep leaning with that. I think they're going to be fine, especially when it comes to the foodies. Pinterest is the place. Right. Instagram's doing that now. So foodies are gravitating to Instagram. So if you're a foodie, if you're somebody that can teach gardening, food techniques, all of that stuff, Snapchat, I'm not sure who this one is. I don't know why. But remember the permission. Oh, it's Tom again. That's why. Snapchat is great among especially younger people, the younger generation. Is Snapchat losing? Some people say they're starting to lose members. So I don't know. I believe this. Pick a platform or two. And if it's going to be two, make sure that YouTube's one of them. I think YouTube is still going to win the race for long term. I don't know if I put it in the headline today about 10 years, but the next 10 years, I am part of a tech group. And well, I'm part of two groups. One is they're multimillionaires that have done a lot of good stuff, right? So I lean into them and for advice. The other one is a tech group. I'm a tech company. So, and we're learning, like we understood AI, especially when it was really coming to the forefront. And we were seeing all these companies that were leaning into the AI and creating what we refer to as wrappers. So what that is you're creating a program that takes AI that might be confusing to others and just making it a very easy interface, making it easier to use. And the catch would be, would people be willing to pay for that? So my group on Saturday, we were talking about this certain thing that we're doing with Linkboard. And the question is always this, and this got me excited. The question is always this, are there going to be people willing to pay for that? And instead of that question coming up, the whole group said, there's going to be numerous people wanting to pay for that. So that's a sounding board.
Right.
So going back to Facebook, I like to utilize Facebook and some of these other platforms as a sounding board. You and I are fleshing certain things out.
Yep.
And then when we do, and we feel like, okay, we're onto something, then we're going to run with it. Right.
Right.
So yes, so the blue check mark thing, the Facebook is doing, everyone can learn from this. Like, look at what other companies are doing. They watch another company says, oh, it worked. It increased revenue. Now let's adopt that. Right. They already have their platform. They already have their people. As long as you have a platform and the people behind it, you can do this. You can borrow other ideas and win. The key word is borrow and not steal. There is some things you got to be careful with, but you can definitely do it. Okay. Let's see. Is there any questions yet? By the way, if you have any questions for us, this is the time to do it. Matter of fact, we'll go deeper with this tonight as well. By the way, it is called units is changed now to guides. I have to make a change of the tag so they come into the guides, but it's no longer units in the group. It's called guides. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like the way that they changed it. I do like the sort order though. It's drag and drop. Do we like drag and drop there, D?
We love drag and drop.
I like anything that's going to make your life faster. And by the way, today we're going to talk about that. Like how to do what's called an increase, how to clone yourself. Like that's huge right now. And especially with AI, which we'll get in other, another program, how to utilize AI. But at the end of the day, how to clone yourself and really, really make a difference and an impact with your business. Okay, if there's no questions yet, we're going to jump right in. And one of the things I want to talk about is chat AI still good to be programmed by a human, right? No. Yeah, I mean, well, let's bring this up. So chat AI, just for some people that don't understand what it is, it's artificial intelligence. So here's what's happening in the industry. There was a top-notch copywriter that wanted to see if AI could be just as good as their top copywriter within their organization. And the answer was yes, it was. It was like incredible. Another person did the same thing. They did a AI version of an ad, and that ad outperformed 4-1.
That's
So
crazy.
is there industries that are in trouble? Possibly, but there's a way to fix that. I'm not going to talk about it here, but I'll quickly talk about it. So let's say you're in the ad space. I would be more about what a human is needed, meaning, how much are you going to pay per click? What ads are you going to run? Where, what, you need a pixel or not a pixel, whatever, right?
Right.
The funnel version of the ad, where are the people going to go? You're still going to need a human for that.
Right.
But where they could lean into the AI is now they could help by reducing the cost and the expenses for their customer by utilizing AI. So it's just the way that you would use it. Is it going to do away with that industry? No. I'll give you an example of that. When I was in school, I wanted to be an architect, right? And my guidance counselor said, well, there's this thing called CAD. That's how long ago that was developed. And
right.
Like, really? And it's still a thing today, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know if that was but it was CAD.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, there's no need for architects now. That was not true. I was given bad advice.
No, not true at all. I mean, the architects still had to do the drawings on the software,
They had to still do it. It streamlined. It was really more of a tool for the architect. You still need an architect,
right?
That is licensed, right?
Right.
So no, it was a tool, not a. It doesn't get or replace. So AI is a tool. Just never forget that. It's a tool, and the way you lean into it is what's going to make a difference. We're leaning in with AI for Linkboard, and a few others, but we're going to lean into it as a tool and then simplify it for our customers. That's just what we're going to do.
Right.
So no, it's not going to get rid of humans right away anyway. Will AI get rid of humans? Yes. Yes, there is going to be a day that there will be no person at a counter serving you or taking your order. That's coming. We already see it. Zoom, people said, oh no, remote. A long time ago on the BIZ Room podcast or the BIZ Room on Blog Talk Radio, I said there will be a day where you'll have just as many, and it's not quite there yet, but it's close, just as many people working from home, especially in the professional space, as like somebody that answers phone, like customer service stuff. Right. You could be thinking you're calling this large corporation, and it's somebody else on the phone taking your info right from their own home. That is going to happen. And we had a lot of people say, no, that's never going to happen. You got to have everybody in one spot. And look at today, especially with the power of Zoom. But do you think that Zoom saw that? I don't know. Zoom, they killed it during COVID. Like,
100%.
But they just, you can get lucky by what's going on in the market. And I don't mean taking advantage either. Zoom was an incredible tool that people benefited, including schools, because of Zoom.
Right.
And so even if they got rewarded for that, that's not a bad thing, because people benefited off of the power of Zoom. So I would say my screen died there. By the way, I'm going to show some examples of things that you could use to really get this going. So let's jump into it. It is now 20 after. I'm probably going to go to a quarter of. If you have a question, feel free to put it into the feed and we will answer it is the best that we can. So one moment. And by the way, if nobody's in the 52 Creator Challenge, please feel free to jump in there. We got some great things coming up, especially this week. So this is going to make a huge difference for a lot of you. Okay. I want to talk about like Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is a real estate investor, and he does a lot of other things, but not only does he invest in real estate, physical real estate, I think there's a better way. Okay. I don't have anything against, I was a real estate investor as well. I know you are. Even the building you're in is still an investment.
Right.
Okay. So I do believe in it. And there are some things I'm not really grabbing. But then let's take somebody on the flip side of Grant Cardone would be Dave Ramsey. Now, Dave Ramsey is a product creator. And what Dave does is he basically creates, how to get out of debt. So he's a debt guy. So how to stay out of debt. Don't ever use debt. He's that guy, right?
Right.
He stuck his flag in the sand that says anyone that wants to do this, I'm going to help you get out of debt. Never use debt ever again. I don't believe in it either. It's made him a multimillionaire though, by sticking the flag in the sand. And I don't think it's doing any harm. If people get out of debt, it's called the debt snowball, right? I actually had a program similar, but mine wasn't so restrictive as his program was. But at the end of the day, that's what he did. Okay. Dave doesn't believe in risky investments, which is good. That's fine. I believe in risk. I think you believe in risk.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Grant Cardone believes in risk. It's calculated risk is the key. With Grant Cardone, though, Grant is big on investing in real estate. So here's my feeling on that. For those of you that got impeccable credit and funders or money, it is a great way to create what's called passive income. Okay. So Grant will talk about, he's got a Rolex watch that costs 500,000. I just think that's sick.
I know.
I just can't even imagine.
Right.
I don't care where my wealth will ever land. I just don't see myself doing that. I think he's actually got one that's worth $1 million. But regardless, but here's the key point here. He says, I don't pay for it with his income, his assets pay for it. So he'll have a windfall from an asset and that's what pays for it. His airplane, same thing, a windfall from an asset, or it's calculated tax, just saving the taxes.
Right.
So there's a sophisticated way. And by the way, we're not tax pros, just so you know that. So that's why you hire them. They help you with that side of it. Let's see what else. So how else could you do that though? So this is the thing that I want to talk about today, being a product creator and being a systems creator. There's so many different things you could do. It could be an app. It could be courses, your training. Susie, she's got where she's going to change the lives of especially female. That happens to be her female mothers, I believe. That's going to be her audience, right? And serve them in a capacity. But if she was to have a facility, which you still could do, but if I was to have that, I would have, filming in there. But if you were to have a facility where it was one-on-one or one-on-many, meaning you have 30 students, you're only going to scale that so far.
Right.
So a better version would that be, and by the way, I would get a camera. We're going to talk about cameras and some equipment. But I would use something that follows you. So you can Google it. I think there's one, I forget the name of it. I'll put it in the Link Boss program. The week that my brother passed, I was going to do it and forgot. So I'll make sure that I do that. That helps you. It's a camera that follows you. Now you don't need a camera guy, right?
Right.
Unless you need close-ups and stuff like that. But there's even a better way of doing that. So just know with a very minimal amount of money, you can create $1 million program. Not to fluff it. This is fact. We all know that Lady Boss did millions with her program. She's just teaching girls how to get out in shape and believe in themselves and have what is it?
Confidence.
Self-confidence.
Yep.
Did she reinvent it?
No.
She just resonated with people. She was out of shape. She got into shape. She didn't believe in herself. She believes in herself. And as soon as people are like, yeah, that's me, there's where the key is. Yeah, that's me. And I want to learn that. That's the key. So with Susie, same thing. Here's my why, here's my story. This is why I did this. And this is the confidence that it gave me. And the byproduct is it gets me in shape. And you're going to have the confidence including some possible life-saving
right
tactics.
Self-defense skills. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Like with your product, could you, and I'm actually, this is an actual question. Like, could you put two programs, one as a business? Okay. So here's one right now. And by the way, people pay attention to this. I'm always looking at what is the product going to be? What else can happen? What else can you offer?
Right. Like the byproducts.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think there's an audience? I don't care if they can find it on YouTube. People pay for the fastest way to get to the solution. So I don't care if they have to search to get the answer. There are some people, Susie, there are people that can go online and learn some Krav Maga techniques. I took Hapkido but I learned some other stuff by that. But would I rather do that, or would I rather learn from somebody that's a master that's like a one-on-one, especially if it can be in my own home or with a buddy system? And yes, you can do it. Some people say, well, you can't really teach martial arts because you got to know if the techniques. You can do it if you're really good at teaching. I'm just going to leave it there. We'll go in depth out how you go about doing that. It's called close-ups. It's called B-roll. A-roll is the thing itself. But so I'm going to ask you this question. First of all, do you think there's a market for it? I believe I have an answer to that. But what if you put a mini course and the price is determined by how many people want it? And next week, we'll talk about how do you price things. Okay. But let me ask you this. Do you think there would be an audience that do not bike? They don't mountain bike. They don't road bike. They don't fat bike, in the snow.
Or they don't bicycle at all.
They don't bicycle at all. And if you led with, well, I'm not going to go there. Do you think there would be an audience for people to learn how to get outdoors, how to live out loud? And in the biking world, what is it? How can you benefit health-wise? How do you increase your social circles with it? Right. Do you think that there's an audience?
Yeah.
I believe there's a huge audience for that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. If there's an audience for it, do you think there's an audience for somebody doing it as a business? Like having another, another location.
Like that would be like their sole business.
Yeah. Or even if it's a hobby business, like
right. Well, I'm just saying, but like that's the one thing. Like, for example, like we're a bike shop, we can incorporate a program into that, but we're still a bike shop at the end of the day, as opposed to having it as a standalone product.
But could you teach people how to have their own bike shop? Let's pretend they know nothing about bikes.
Well, yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, yeah, you know, for sure. I mean, I mean, some things will just have to take a little more time than others, especially the mechanic side and and that kind of stuff,
Right. So technically, what could happen is you could be the supplier. You could train people how to have their own bike company, if you will, or a reseller that is not subject to only your bikes. That would probably be a bonus. But you're going to teach them the trade. You're going to teach how to set up the shop. You're going to teach, here's modules that'll teach. You're going to hire somebody, how to hire somebody that knows how to repair, assemble bikes.
Right.
And for those that need, special training because your bikes might be different and unique, you would have that in your program. Do you see where this gets fleshed out though? Like
Yeah.
it's one
Yeah.
goes into the other.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know what I mean? And there's definitely a lot of, retail is retail,
Yes,
more or less. You know what I mean? It just depends on what you're selling. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of covered. It's the operations on the ordering, and you know what I mean. But the biggest thing is the service. You know what I mean? The service, you need someone experienced, or go to school, or get a program. But even school teaches you a fraction of the stuff.
yeah. Could you
You know
do a
what I
better
mean?
job? If I was to tell you you got to do this, like, could you create a program that would teach somebody how to do the service side?
Yeah, yeah. But there's been a couple schools that's been out there since. I mean, I went to one of them. You know,
Okay.
in like the late '80s, early '90s, and they've
Okay.
been doing it ever since. Like, you know, they have the system down very well.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could do it, but would it be? I'd have to put a ton of work in for, you know what I mean, for something that's already pretty well dialed.
I got to bring this up. Is this Tom?
Let me see. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah. You're not going to believe this. There are people. So the real quick, let me finish up with D. I believe it can happen, but you know that industry better.
Yeah,
So it could be somebody that's already educated. It's just another level that they would buy into. Okay. Because
right,
there are sometimes you need hands-on physically being there.
right. Oh,
You know.
no, 100%.
So that being said, there could be workshops, there could be all sorts of things that
But
you can do.
right, but like, I mean, like, you know how the tools of the trade is part of the formula. It's not all the formula.
Right.
It's your personal work ethic. It's who you are. It's how you're perceived. It's, you know what I mean? Like, how do you treat everyone that walks in the door all the time? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and word of mouth, and just all those type of things that I think help just as much.
Yeah. I believe so too. Yeah. By the way, this is a big industry. Obviously, physical products, especially when it comes to the fitness industry, is never going to die off. Like it's evergreen. So, okay, let's see. I already got that one. Business incorporate how to. Oh yeah, this is good. Matter of fact, the biz room originally was going to be something like this, but you got biz by sell and stuff, and I think Tom's creating something similar to where you have an existing business and you buy it. By the way, a lot of people can do that too. If you have a lot of money, you can buy an existing business. If you have a lot of money, you can invest in real estate. But if you don't, I just believe that if it were me and you got knowledge, there is real estate online. So you got physical real estate, and then
Right,
the real estate online is you have an app idea, you have a SaaS system, kind of like with Embed Locker. That's for individuals that need hosting. That is a trainer that doesn't want their video stolen. We created a platform for that. That's that.
right.
It's literally like real estate. So if you were to buy a plaza, I'm sorry, not a plaza. What is it called where it's multiple doors units?
You mean like a multi dweller, like
Yeah, like a
yeah,
condos.
yeah,
Okay.
right.
Let's just say
Multi
you,
unit, yeah, multi unit or
yeah,
whatever.
multi-unit condo deal where it's rentals, not you're not selling them. If
Right,
you sell them, then you make money on the association dues and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you're renting them out, what's it going to cost you? It's going to cost you 10 million or whatever it is, right? So now you need 10 million, you need an investor, which you can get if you can prove that you're the guy or the gal that's going to see it through and the business model makes money. You can certainly do that. And you can make a lot of passive income money. Or you create something like a Netflix, and don't get caught up on, oh, Tim, that's like Netflix. That's hard. No. You can, Susie, I want to pick on Susie for a moment. If she had a a training on martial arts, let's say, or self-defense, let's just use it for self-defense for ladies, she could create a platform that's for ladies, for men, for this, for that, for kids. and make it like a Netflix of self-defense, like legit. Now think about this. Not to do, but how many members are on Netflix right now? Do you know?
I don't know, but probably hefty amount.
Like how many subscribers of Netflix? And you got to remember, Netflix went up. I remember when Netflix was $7 a month.
Yeah, me too. For how many devices too, like unlimited devices.
Oh, and that was a bad mistake on their part, by the way. There's a lot of people even listen. There are some companies, they kind of forget what got them there. You got to be careful of that. Always know what got you there. But the bottom line is, let's pretend, and this is for Susie. Do you really think that you could get 25,000 subscribers? 25,000 subscribers. Oh, he said 39 million. Is that true? Wait, 39 million is what they're making?
No, I think that's the number of subscribers. What? Oh, no, wait a minute. I got 209 million global paid memberships as of what? 2021.
Oh my gosh. Well, no wonder they're $1 billion company.
Right.
Okay, so 20, what if you go ahead?
Fourth quarter of 22, 231 million.
Wow. Isn't that
according to Google?
Crazy?
Yeah.
So they're actually still growing then.
They're still growing.
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, you're going to lose some, just like when Planet, we went back. I said I would never, and I did.
I know.
It is what it is. It's helping me right now with some stuff. But at the end of the day, let's say you have a program that you're going to Netflix it, right? So maybe it's a program on entrepreneurship. Maybe it's a program on neuroscience. Maybe it's a program on gardening. And there's just multiple trainers. Like everyone resonates with a different trainer, right? I'm just giving ideas. Or like Susie, not only is she going to serve women or married women, I don't know if it was married, but let's say her avatar is married women with children and she's going to teach them self-defense. I think that's going to make hubby feel a little better, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know?
Right.
But let's say that you grow it. And by the way, 25,000 members is not a huge number. They'll even tell you if you get 10,000 subscribers, if anything, it's a multi-million-dollar business. Period. Right. And there's many facets to this, but 25,000, and let's just assume, and this is where I would go. This is why I call it the Netflix approach. This is so many people they want these big numbers, right? Well, what if you only charged 20 a month, 10 a month? If you charge 10, most people don't cancel there.
Yeah, dude, if you're $9.99, $7.99, people, I think, overlook that something like that all the time.
Let's go with.
I know I personally do.
What's that?
I know I personally do. You know what I mean? Like if it's $7.99, for example.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like like
it's gold right here.
Right. Like I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, right. It's cheaper than a freaking McDonald's hamburger these days.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, basically, maybe like once a year, she and I would go through and be like, oh, we don't, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need this or we don't need that. You know what I mean? But they got probably 11 months out of us before we got to that point.
Yeah. I think I paid for CapCut. I forget. YouTube went up to 15 a month.
Right.
That's just so you don't see ads.
What's funny is that like I have Fire Stick TV, and so like I don't have like regular TV. But Travis Pastrana's in the Daytona 500, and I wanted to watch the Daytona 500 on Sunday, a little bit on Sunday to see how he was doing.
Wow.
And
there you go.
I couldn't do it. Like for Hulu, for like live TV or YouTube TV or whatever else, they're all like $60 a month.
Yes.
Or something. Like they were $60 a month. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that.
No. There is a point of cancellation.
Right. But you know what I mean? But like I didn't even like sign up. You know what I mean? Like I didn't care. I'll watch the highlights of it. Where something like this, you don't worry about. If I could have got Fox Sports for $7.99 or $10.99, I'd sign up like that.
Yes.
but I'm not spending 60 some bucks a month on live TV. You know?
No, nope. Matter of fact, YouTube's got their own TV platform.
Right. It was I looked into that. It was like 60. All of them were within a couple bucks a month of each other.
Yes. And it's a lot, you know.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they got the user base, so they it's another billion in their pocket. Let's be honest.
100%. Like if you're in the live TV and like all the network shows and all that kind of crap, you know what I mean? Like still a lot cheaper than DirecTV used to be or that kind of stuff. But
speaking of which, like people, you gotta like Susie. Is Susie still on? I don't know. I'm still gonna pick on Susie. Susie, if I was her, I would do like live. You have the selling live. What's it called on Facebook? Selling live. Like if you have a product, we're gonna do
Facebook
that
Marketplace. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep, and you go live. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to just tell Susie. So Susie, if I was Susie, I would first do a free line. Okay, what is a free line? I would be teaching some initial techniques or mindset stuff for the women. I would form the group and really get them engaged. And then at some point, you're going to offer a program. But then Susie, it keeps layering. That program would be, for instance, I'm not going to throw out a name. I kind of got a cool name for it, but let's just say whatever. So it's a self-defense for women that have kids, whatever her avatar is. She doesn't actually put that in the market. She markets them. Okay. But at the end of the day, she has a headline. She gets the people in. You do some simple training that's going to get their mindset right. And they start realizing that they're getting confidence. If they believe that I can do this, they're going to get in, right? And then at some point you say, okay, how do I broaden? So now you create a platform. Do you remember like Faith Dive that we were going to do?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Okay. So what we were going to do, and maybe down the road we'll do it, but right now, too many ideas. So it's got to hit the back burner. But at the end of the day, we were going to have a platform where all faiths can come together and they have their own channel and teaching and stuff like that. We just saw a huge need for that. But think about it. And think of how easy you just made like donations happen. I know of somebody that's done 7 figures donation only. They say, hey, if you get value, it's called a tip jar. Matter of fact, have you ever heard of OnlyFans? Now, some of OnlyFans is bad, but at the end of the day, that's how some of them have subscription. Even YouTube, you can charge subscribers. People don't know that. Right. Like, obviously you make money off of the ad revenue, but you can also have a subscription base to where people can go deeper with you and you make revenue. That was another 7 figures for a guy that's in the foodie industry. 7 figures as soon as he turned it on. What? That is what we're talking about in today's economy. Okay. It is truly the creator's economy today. But let's go back to Netflix. Okay. So Netflix has got 209. But what if you had 25,000 members? Eventually you'll get them, right? Especially if it's good. But let's say Susie went from a program specifically for women with children. That's her avatar. That's who she's going to market to. She creates a free line. Let's say she doesn't have a lot of marketing money. So she's going to just create this audience, just like Lady Boss did, right? And then from there, you start advertising a little and you get people in. You're going to have a 7-figure business. But how do you scale it? So here you go. Now you Netflix the thing and you bring in more trainers, let them be on your platform. You're charging the trainer to come in and then they can offer their program on here. And then the people that come into this program can choose which self-defense they want to learn. And by the way, I'm flying off the cuff, I don't know if maybe this already exists out there, but you get the point.
Right.
And if you're only charging, let's just say, once you get to this level, if I was Susie, you got to charge what people are willing. So you got to look at the industry. Okay, what would it cost for you to go to a martial arts class? Okay, great. You got that number. Let's just say it's $100 a month. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a little more. Maybe it's a little less. I don't know. Especially the more attention to you, the more it's going to cost you, right? So let's say she can even do once a year meetups where now she rents like a gymnasium, which by the way, you could do for really, yes, a Udemy for martial arts would be a great Cool apps. What's this one? We'll come back to this. So the idea would be, I would be doing it right around $10 or less. So at $10, obviously simple math, that's 250,000 per month. This is why when people say, no, it's worth $97 a month. Well, you're not going to get as many people.
Right.
And by the way, you're going to have a lot more trouble tickets, believe it or not. Now there is a thing where the lower the value, the lower quality of the customer. Yes, that still exists. Not here though. Not here.
Right.
This is where it's going to be almost the flip side of that. Okay. So that would be my aim. Let's just say you had 10,000 users. What? 10,000 users at $10 a month.
Right.
Do you see, like, even you and I on some things, it's like, if we only stayed on this one, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we have a Netflix style with one of our programs. Speaking of which, it's going to go down in a pricing. And the system got better. So the system gets better, but the pricing goes down. What?
Right. Exactly.
Because we want to serve the masses. Okay.
Right. That's right.
So if you have a program that you only get 5,000 members, and by the way, in today's world, that's nothing. Okay. And you're looking at 50,000 a month per month. Now, here's why I bring this up. Once again, folks, and I'm going to go into actually, I'll save it for next week. Like I'll give you a caveat. Like Grant Cardone is like, don't invest in 401, 403, Roth IRAs. I'm not totally on that, but I get where he's going with it. Okay. And Susie, I'm going to come back using your scenario. The reason why Grant's saying that, now, mind you got to have a really good plan. You got to be careful. And once again, I used to be a financial planner, no more. I let those licenses go because I saw a better way. But at the end of the day, if you build a company, if you do it right, you got to always be thinking of an exit, selling the company.
Right.
If you have a little pizza shop on the corner, you're not going to get as much money as if you had a program that was like the Netflix of TV cooking shows, way more sales, right? Not to mention the revenue per month. You get the point there.
Right.
So we'll go more in depth on that next week to just get your mind right into thinking. But, and I'm not suggesting that you don't invest. I still believe in, especially a Roth. I believe in that. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to say why yet. In the future, I will. But cloning yourself. So you create the program, you put the program out to the world, and all you have to do is updates. All you have to do is show up and teach every now and then, keep everybody engaged. But if you do it right, it's going to create its own ecosystem all by itself. Facebook did. You know, Zuckerberg once in a while pops in. And I don't even think people really care if he does or doesn't. Okay. Personally, I don't mind the guy. He's a little dry. Roku is another one. Yeah. $5.99. Is it still that way? Is it still?
I don't know. I didn't even look at them when I was on the other day.
Yeah. I don't know the deal on that one. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. The numbers are cool. Listen, if I were all of you, we're going to sum this up. If I were all of you, and if I was to start over and my clients started over and, you know, in our group, they started over, they all of them state that they would be more in the digital world, meaning creating software, creating SaaS systems like software as a service, creating apps, creating programs online. And before you don't think you can, yes, you can. And far less than what it would cost you to, let's say you were to buy a mall. Chautauqua Mall does no money.
No.
Chautauqua Mall is dead.
It just sold, didn't it?
And it sold for how much?
$6 or $7
$6 or $7 million.
Yep.
for the land, because where it sits is good.
Right.
And because whoever bought it hopefully has vision.
Well, exactly. I'm super
But
curious.
can you imagine? Okay, so let's use that. So they have this vision. They're paying $7 million just for the location.
They're already in the whole 7. I mean, it's a big piece of property, but then are they fixing up the mall? Are they tearing it all down? Tearing it all down. How much is that going to cost to haul it away?
The parking lot alone is like $4 million to fix it.
Right.
It almost swallowed my vehicle the other day getting to the planet. I mean, the parking lot alone was a deal breaker. Anyways, so going back with Susie. So let's say that they want a net $5 million, whatever it is. Okay. So you're buying a building full of condos in Florida. What are you going to net per month? I don't know. Maybe it's 100,000 a month. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's 50,000 a month. What's it going to cost you to net that 100 or 50?
That's right.
Millions. Where Susie can create a platform, create a movement for women. We already know she's got things working for her as far as these vans being parked. Did you see these baiting things that's going on right now? So they'll show like a broken down vehicle to get people to stop. So that woke me up. I didn't know like this is a thing. Or somebody knocking at your door and it's always a female saying, "Hey, I'm sorry. It's 1 or 2 in the morning." Why? Because there's nobody seeing or observing what's going on.
Right.
And as soon as you open that door, there's guys right behind her and they rob you and steal. Like, we already know that women are missing, children are missing. We already know that this is going on. So Susie's in that area of the right, hey, let me teach you how to not be kidnapped. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I remember way back in the day, teaching my daughter, make yourself heavy and hard to grab. You fall on the ground and you aim and kick, and scream, getting help. Believe it or not, that's like the first part of self-defense. So do you think there's going to be a need for her? Yes. Do you think she'll be rewarded for her knowledge? Absolutely. And never feel bad about that. If you're going to change somebody's life, people pay for Netflix. Do you think it changes your life?
Right.
I don't know. Like maybe if you watch the right program, but I doubt it.
Right.
It's entertainment.
That's exactly right.
You're not entertainment. You're going to change people's lives. So if I was Susie, that's the first thing I would do. I'd first form my group, start teaching some free stuff. I would get my core done and right. I don't know if she's there yet. Get my core done right. And then from there, I would be creating my system. And then your system, which is no different than like a mall or a complex, a plaza. I don't care if it's and think about it. If you're going to pay for a condo facility to make money, once you millions, like now you got to get an investor, you got to have closing. Did the person lie and it's not really making the money? Did you find out that it's sitting on a fault line? Like there's these things that you don't know.
Right.
Or you build systems on the web that are very easy to get going. Yep. No escrow. Yes, there might be some cost there to build it, but very little money compared to what other things are going to cost you.
Right.
And you're everywhere.
Exactly. Can you imagine if you had to replace the roof on that thing? You know what I mean? Right there. How many how many SaaS systems? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the maintenance. Let's see, subs, products that you can sell larger carriers. Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's another thing. Susie, this is a good idea right here. So let's say Susie has a platform. She can actually at some point even license it out where somebody else sells it.
Right.
There's so many ways to make these programs. That's why I believe in fleshing out. Find as many scenarios and then before you know it, the direction we're doing that with Linkboard. The scenarios. We know what it's going to do to save lives. We know what it's going to do to help people and curve how long it takes for them to flesh out a product, to manage a product, to see the product's life actually unfold. Like we already know that. We know how it's going to manage the teams and stuff like that. Now, where do we go from there? Right. That's why we call it our Quan. Right. So that's what you really need to do. So with Susie, she can make a program. Lady Boss sold hers for millions. Okay. She sold it. Now somebody else has that brand and they're going to sell it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got, well, and keep in mind, that's why 52 Creator, there's a lot of things you do up front. A lot of people will say, oh, learn it in a week. I'm sorry, man, you're going to fail.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't
but
happen that way.
Susie, especially, tonight and Saturday, in the group, and then eventually we're going to take you guys inside Linkboard, where everything goes deep in Linkboard. Game changer. Now, if you want to go faster, you can. We just recommend just-in-time learning. Otherwise, your mind is going to blow. Like, trust me on that. We can get you there. That's my bold promise. But here's the thing: you got to get that awareness out. Susie, start dripping these. Form a group. Okay. Hopefully you have the name for your product.
She does. I've been watching her. She's been dripping. She has.
Oh yeah. I do know.
Yeah, exactly.
Good name, by the way.
Yeah, no, for sure. So
nice. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. And by the way, we'll showcase you. Here's another thing inside Linkboard. What we're going to be doing soon, like towards the end of the year, especially the ones that really took action and they got their products out there, we're going to promote you as literally a community, all putting their arms around you and saying, hey, everyone needs this. That resonates with it. I certainly believe in it. So I know in our affiliate program, Susie's product's going in it, right? Because everybody, so we're not just about, hey, our affiliate programs, you can create that. And there's another revenue stream. So if I was somebody, because Grant Cardone does teach, and yes, you can invest with them. He wants 250,000, I believe, is the minimum investment. And before I would do that, I'm going to do where he's really making his money. Do you know where Grant Cardone is really making his money? I mean, now you have to remember, he got other people's money to make the real estate money.
Wait, exactly.
Making money.
I mean, but it's the teaching.
It's the teaching. His platform, his university, if you will, that teaches real estate stuff, is making, I think it's close to $1 billion now, but it's hundreds of millions of dollars per month. He's one of and the guy came out of nowhere 10 years ago. Like literally, right. I remember when he started, I was on 3rd Street and I'm watching Grant because I was doing a flip and it was a higher end product that I was buying. The only one that I lost money on 2 others, but I lost a lot on that one. I would never do that. But now I know that, right? So, but at the end of the day, I'm watching him and he had literally on his live, what was it called? Something cat. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. Isn't it funny how these programs are gone now?
Right.
It was something cat. It was when you went live and he had like 4 or 5 people. Like we're small right now too. But he had like 4 or 5 people. But within a year, thousands. With a year after that, 100,000s, now millions. So just know that things just happen at a faster pace online. He would have never been where he was if he didn't get known as he talks about.
Right. I mean, like it wasn't for the online platforms, where would he be?
Yeah. And
what I mean?
And here's another thing. And don't do this though. Remember that you say one thing, do another.
Right.
I don't like that. That's happening in this industry. He was promoting one platform, but he's actually using another one.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, don't do that. That shows you that you're in it for the money. So just be careful of that. Confused mind, and I don't know. I just don't agree. Okay. Is there any other questions before we wrap this up? So just think, folks, once again, summarize. You can invest in real estate, which, it's sexy. I get it. And I love it too. You can invest in that, in stocks, the stock market, and Bitcoin and all this stuff. Or you can create a products or service online and it's sellable. It's self-rewarding.
It's sellable. It's like you said, it's scalable.
Scalable, big time.
Right.
Big time. And we're going to show you the better ways of doing it. Okay. From just a course, which I'm a big fan of courses, a course platform, how you can siphon other people's traffic in an ethical and positive way. And then of course, SaaS system, software as a service, meaning If you got an idea, I'll give you an example. Somebody that's a trainer that creates an app that's going to help you drink water better, or make sure you have your water, make sure your weight, and you're checking your fat and all this stuff. Are there other apps that do that? Yes. But maybe because it's that person and maybe they add in training inside that makes that app actually more appealing. That's what we're talking about. I'm a big believer of apps. I think apps are, until there's a new way, apps for the next 5 years are, well, think about it. They're, apps are right on the phone. And before you think you can't do it, never think that. You can have anything built today. We're going to show you the right way of doing that to make sure you save as much money and you invest as little as you need to when you come to doing that. Okay. Well, listen, I do love investing. I love real estate, but you know what? I like not owing better. So if you became your own investor, wouldn't that be a cool thing?
Right.
And
No,
put it under management.
Nope. I got no problem with real estate. You know,
it's just, I love it.
Right.
It's just another leg of the financial picture.
Exactly. Exactly.
But just know that the online stuff is just like real estate. It works just like it. Okay, so let's see. We are good. All right, we went 15 minutes more.
Like we weren't.
Now, next week we're going to talk about pricing. How do you price all this stuff? How do you start out? How do you get the product out to the world to make sure that they even want it? Right. Before you invest $1. How cool is that? Oh, and I'm going to show you the biggest trick. If you've got, and it's an ethical trick. If you got a program, how to get the hungry buyers up front for that program. Nice. You and I've got an ad going out today that has a lot to do with that. How do you get those hungry buyers even before that program? We're going to show you the ethical. Now, mind you, it's got to be real and you got to be actually have it. But the idea is you're going to get the consensus of all of the people that want it. We're going to show you exactly how to do that. Okay, everyone have a great week. There is training tonight at 7 p.m. And then Saturday morning, we also have additional training that's going to be released inside Link Board. And I'll show you how you go about getting that as well tonight. So everyone have a great week moving forward, and we'll see you on next week. So scary. All righty, peace out, people.